In this video, I want to walk you through how I organize my journal articles and literature that I want to read in Notion. I'm Dr. Elena Reister. I got my PhD in chemistry, and I make videos and products to help you complete your research with more confidence and less effort. Today, I'm going to jump into my template in Notion to show you how I organize all of my journal articles and literature. You can go ahead and purchase this template using the link down below to be able to follow along and see how it goes, or you can watch this video and decide whether it's worth it for you. So here is my template. Once you've duplicated it, this is what you're going to see within your own Notion tab. So it's the journal article organization template, and you can see that on the first page is this calendar view. So within this template, it allows you to set a read by date for all of your journal articles. So if you want to read certain things by a certain time or things like that, you will put that date within the table that I'm going to show you in a minute, and this will auto-populate. You can easily move your things across to automatically change that date field. That's this main section right here. If you don't care about the date to read articles, you can also change it into this read status or a table view. So you can just see all of your articles in here. In this case, I have 3 example papers to get you started with working on stuff, and I'm gonna show you exactly what I do within each of these papers for my own journal articles. But I'm gonna set this back to calendar view for now. So on the right-hand side, you have this read this week. These are all the papers that have dates for you to read within this week. You also have this checkbox here, which is always going to allow you to check whether that is read or not. If you've read that paper, it'll automatically remove itself from this list. So this is automatically auto-populated for you. Then you get to your dashboard, and your dashboard is going to include this literature organization. This is the main table that houses all of your literature, and we're going to go through that in just a minute. There's also a page on how to use this template. It includes parts of this video within that template to help you figure out exactly how to use this Notion template. And then you have research papers and reviews papers. These papers are meant to be the papers that you're planning on writing and not papers that have already been written. So each one of these includes a page that will have a table in it where you can actually link your literature to different parts that you want to reference it within your research paper. So it's an easy way for you to just be able to go into that page and automatically know what papers you wanted to reference within that research paper. And then at the bottom here is a summary of your literature organization table again. You can change this view if you want to. You can always make certain properties seen or not seen within this table by going to these 3 dots, clicking properties, and then you can toggle these on and off, and that will make them seen or not seen. So now we're going to go into what the literature organization table actually looks like. So if we click on this, it will expand that table into a full page. So this is a little bit easier for you to work with. I have 3 example papers in here just to get you started with showing you kind of what you can do within this template. So these example papers, you can put in the authors. You can assign them to a specific topic, and you can actually assign them to multiple topics. And I'll get into in a minute on how that actually looks. There's a synopsis section, so if you want to just include a 1 sentence about what that does, so it's really easy to search for later, you can include that in there. And then you have a date to read. And so this date to read section is what's going to populate within that calendar view and that read this week tab. You can check on or off whether you've read the paper or not. And then you also have its read status. So you can go through how you read the paper, and you can always add in different categories that more fit your flow. And then over here is how we're going to link to research papers. I'm going to show this a little bit later once we've covered a couple different other things. So within each of these papers, this is actually its own page. So you can open as a page, and you're going to have example paper loaded in here. So I'm actually going to create a new one. So if I create a new, so I'm titling it by the name of the paper that I'm going to show you today. This paper was actually my first published paper, so I'm just going to go through showing you how I would do this with a different type of paper. So once you have this, you can hit this open, and this is going to open it as a page, so you can actually start writing within it. So here's the title of that paper. The authors are Reister et al. And you can do this however you want. If you want to include all the authors' names or whatever, you can do it however you want. I'm going to make set it to be read by the end of this month. And then right now I'm gonna leave the read status as empty, assuming that I haven't read it. I'm not gonna check anything. And let's say you don't even know what it's about yet, you can leave all of this empty and you can leave the topics empty. So now what you can do if you want to use my template is you can just click this journal article template here, or you can make one of your own if you would like. And so up here I have the paper. And there's 3 different ways you can put a paper in here. You can embed a paper. So if you use the / and type in embed, there's an embed for PDFs. And so if you click on this, you can upload your paper in so you never lose it. So I'm gonna choose a file, and then I'm gonna upload in this paper. And here's the paper embedded in. So I can always read it within here. I can make this larger so that I can see more of it, or make it smaller. This is how you can embed your paper in here. You can also include either a link to the PDF or a link to the website itself. So here is a PDF. So if I just copy and paste this link in here, I can do that. And this will also give you the option to embed the link, but I don't want to embed the link, so I can hit dismiss, and it's just gonna have that link in there. Or I could embed to the actual website. So this is the website that this paper came from, and I can just copy and paste it in here. And you can do all 3 of these. You can do one or the other. If you are embedding, you're going to use up that storage, which means you might need to upgrade to a higher plan on this, or you can just paste links so you can easily access it. So then you can come down here, and I have a summary section. So if you just want to write what the paper was generally about, the methods used, the main findings, and the conclusions of the paper, so that you can easily remember what it was about and look into it more if you want to. So this paper is about steroids, so I'm going to put that in there. It's about ion mobility, it's about metal adduction, and it's about mass spectrometry. You can also change any of these colors by clicking these 3 dots to the right, and then you can easily change the color that any of these are if you want to be able to organize it by that more. So now I have the different properties. I can always again write in that statement as well. So now you can come back out here. If I open it again, I have all of this information in here. And again, I can just keep those summaries and things in here for that. And then you can look and it auto-populates within this general table. So that's how you can just organize each individual paper within your Notion template. So now if we go back to the main page, I want to show you about doing research papers and how to attach it to research papers. So if we click on this research paper template or review paper template, whichever type of paper yours is going to be, you can click these 6 dots and actually hit duplicate. This allows you to keep your research template as a blank and to use these new templates. So if you click to open these templates, you can rename them. And then I want to have different topics that my literature would fall into. So some of the things I will talk about are steroids, ion mobility, mass spectrometry. I might even have some like LC or NMR type papers that I might talk about. So here's some general topics of these papers, and you can decide which section you're gonna put this paper into. So most of these will probably go in my introduction section. I'm just gonna throw introduction. Mass spectrometry is probably gonna be my introduction, and like everything, because I use it for everything. My LC is probably only gonna be in my introduction, and NMR is only going to be in my introduction. So now what we want to do is to be able to link our literature here so you can easily recall it. So if we go back to the journal article organization and we come into our literature organization, what you're going to find is right now we don't have something here for that steroid mixtures paper. So instead, if you go into properties, this is what that column is going to look like. So it's a copy of the research paper template 1. And so because we've only copied it one time, that's the one there. And this is our steroid mixtures paper. So you can toggle it on or to show on or off. So I'm going to toggle it on. And so now it's going to show up here. And then I'm going to rename this to steroid mixtures. And then I want to move it to the front because that's the main one I'm going to be using. These are the templates. So once you have created your own papers, you can always toggle these off. so you don't have to see the templates. They're just kept in here so you can always duplicate and you don't have to recreate these connections. So now I could say, well, this is related to steroids, eye mobility. So I definitely want to cite this within my paper, right? So if you click in this box here, it's automatically going to bring up the topics that were available that you put into the other research paper. So maybe your steroids are really about the fundamentals of steroids, so you don't want to cite it there, but you want to cite it when you talk about eye mobility. And so that's in the introduction. And so now it's going to populate there. That's the topic that you want to talk about this paper in. So if we go back and look at that specific paper, we can now see that that literature is in here. And you can continue to add these on. So if you did multiple papers, it would just continue adding these in here. The other nice thing about this is if we go into the board view, you can actually arrange these. So you can say in your introduction, you want to talk about steroids first, and then you're going to talk about NMR-LC, you're going to talk about mass spec, and then you're going to talk about eye mobility. And then if we click within each of these, it's going to have the literature up here of what you need. But then this is still a page. So in here, you can also start outlining what you're going to use that literature for within this page. And then you can always come back to this dashboard, and all these things are interlinked with each other. You can always decide to show properties or not show properties or filter or anything else that Notion gives you the capabilities to do. And this basically allows you to be able to organize all of your journal articles together. If you want to get this template so you can just easily walk through it and not have any issues, you can purchase it using the link below. If you are struggling with knowing what papers to read or not to read, I really recommend that you get my 30-day research jumpstart guide. It's a free download that's going to help you walk you through how to learn your field, what papers to read, and how to develop your ideas so you can start writing research papers. You can get that link in the description below as well. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.